This is why Black Butler 2 is one of the worst sequels out there. I'm the Shiny Coordinator, and next time, we are covering the Chinese remake of Dark Souls, Berserk 2016. Okay, seriously, what is this? Me taking over my husband's show? Who's doing this?
I am doing this. Just call me Ghost. Like anyone's gonna remember your name anyways.
Oh, hey, sweetie. What are you doing in my dream?
I put the both of your subconsciousnesses in a dream prison, where there's a line separating you from entering the other's dreams. You can communicate with each other at least.
Hey, you hear that? That's the sound of people's patience being tested. Now get to the point.
Both you don't like a silent voice, and I think it's time for the world to know why. Otherwise, you'll never escape this dreamscape. We're already going to do that, dumbass. Call me a dumbass again, and I'll kill you. It's easy for me now that you're ringless.
Maybe with him, but good luck trying to kill me. So, want to begin?
Let's do this. In 2008, a pilot manga was released and would later be reworked for a one-shot in 2011's Basatsu Shonen magazine. This pilot would eventually evolve into the 2013 manga series, a silent voice written by Yoshitoki Oima, who also wrote the pilot/one-shots if you couldn't tell.
Now, the one-shot itself did win several awards at the time, but the reason it wasn't released until 2013 as a full series was due to two factors from what we looked up. The first being a lawsuit from a group that didn't want this book to be released, and a second factor being the subject matter itself, that being a girl getting bullied for her disability, and/or the subject of bullying itself.
For what it's worth, though, the Japanese Federation of the Deaf did endorse this book sometime after the one-shot was released, so that's good. Anyways, 3 years after the manga series began, an anime adaptation was announced and would be handled by Kyoto Animation, while the directing job went to Naoko Yamada.
The silent voice got glowing reviews when it was first released. As for the box office results, the film earned $22 million worldwide when it first came out.
Now, for those who saw a previous video of mine, you may recall that the two of us didn't really like this movie.
But since David here decided to watch a garbage adaptation of a really stupid RPG series, he's covering this film with me in a vain attempt to find something with more effort put into it. Well, then, this stupid ghosting is quote-unquote making us do it.
Alright, let's just begin the review, I guess. Our film begins with our main character, Shoya Ishida, trying to kill himself.
And to contrast from that, we cut to Ishida's childhood.
You mean Shoya?
Does it look like I care? So, like I said, we cut back to Ishida's childhood, and it's at this point we meet our second main character, Nishimiya Shoko, who is deaf, if you couldn't already tell. So naturally, this being elementary school and her being a female with a disability, she is treated normally, and you know where this is going. She's treated as an inferior and eventually gets bullied by Shota and his group of friends, even ripping out her hearing aids at numerous points.
Jesus, do they slaughter kittens as well?
No, but given how they just rip them out instead of gently pulling them out, making her ears bleed as a result, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I think this makes her ears more damaged by doing that now that I think about it. So yeah, these kids are cruel.
Eventually, the mother of Shoko gets involved, and Shoko ends up getting pulled out of class due to the bullying, and Shoya gets bullied / ostracized after generic teacher 502 calls him out on it, and Shoya pins his friends as accomplices, who of course say it's strictly his fault, even though they also did nothing to stop him. It's like, fuck you for bullying a deaf girl, Shoya, even though we could have easily stopped it but didn't.
And with the teacher in the scene where it's revealed Nishima transferred out acts apathetic about it, even quickly moving on to the next topic like it was nothing. I think it's time to get my thoughts about this flashback. Honestly, I think this flashback scene does a good job establishing how harsh and cruel the bullying of a disabled individual is, especially in elementary school. If you felt uncomfortable or even horrified while watching that, then this film did a good job because, yeah, it is bad. And compared to other cases, this kind of bullying I have seen in real life, this is the tamest one they went with.
The sad thing is, this feels a little too close to home for me, and that was likely their intent for those who were bullied / happened to bully in the past. But I'm not afraid to give this film credit for doing that. Same with showing how that bullying has affected Shoya in his later years, making him an antisocial / anxious wreck, who also accepted his past as punishment, and ends up shunning everyone around him, symbolized by the purple X's.
Anyways, the rest of the film is about Ishida trying to redeem himself for what he did wrong to Nishimiya in the past, and eventually finds forgiveness by the end of the film. The end? Roll credits. As a story, it works. What did you say, David?
Yes, the story works. I like the character arc Shoya and Shoko goes through. I think it was paced well, and there was barely any plot holes.
I can agree with that. I like Ishida's redemption and the fact that he found forgiveness in the end. And I even like the bond between Ishida and Ishimiya because they both were bullied at one point, and I was rooting for the two of them as the film went on, because their moments were somewhat heartwarming.
They certainly kick you really hard on the ass with the shit these two go through, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't worth it in the end when Shoya gets his forgiveness. I just wish it wasn't from his former / most of his current friends, because simply put, I don't like most of these supporting characters. Sure, Tomohiro Nagatsuko is a good guy and his bond with Shoya, especially after the cold flashback, was nice to see, and Miyoko's a decent enough character, but Shoya's friends from the past were assholes. Yuzuru was really forgettable throughout the film's run despite her character arc. Naoko was an asshole through and through, and while it was nice to see Shoko call her a dumbass at the end, it was not worth it after all the shit she did. Also, that scene with her assaulting Shoko twice and her mother once and getting away scot-free despite committing assault. Fuck off.
Does somebody call the police? What's the police?
And sure, this film tries to argue that the mother was just as guilty in that moment, but who was the one beating up the disabled person again? Yeah, I fucking thought so. She was okay in this film, and Miki was also a bitch. The other character arcs, why are you complaining? Did I say that they didn't have these arcs? No, I didn't. Yes, they realized they fucked up by the end, but I still hate most of these characters for their actions, and I think this was intentional.
Same here, but I'm sure you'll say why later. Animation-wise, this film looks pretty on the eyes, and the character models and lighting are handled well. Even the scenes are shot well.
Yeah, that's true. While I may not like the characters for the most part, the animation for this film is really well done. Not just in terms of its art style, but the motion is fluid, and even the effects look good. Which leaves the audio, and honestly, it's fine. The intro and ending tunes are fine enough, and the background music is slightly forgettable, but still okay on its own.
Voice-wise, the film is good in both English and Japanese, with special mention going to Ishimiya's dub actress Lexi Coden, who is also deaf and turns it into a good performance. That's so funny.
Barbara Goodson plays the grandmother in the dub.
Oh no.
Ah! After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer!
The voice of 2B plays Nakoya in the dub.
You're a dick.
I learned from the pros.
Touche. Anyways, that's all the elements, so let's wrap this up. On its own, A Silent Voice is a good film. It has a good story, decent audio, but good animation, and the characters outside of her two leads is frustrating to watch, but again, that was likely the point. However, while the film works in regards to these 5 elements, I will probably not be rewatching it anytime soon, for one simple reason. It hits so close to home that it's almost uncomfortable to watch.
Basically.
Growing up, I got bullied. A lot. For multiple reasons. My weight, appearance, my interests, my intelligence. It hurt. And that made me depressed. It made me feel inferior. It made me suicidal in numerous points in my life. And like the main character, I didn't have much support / help during those years. As such, I felt inferior. Depressed. I felt like this was what I deserved. Eventually, I got out of that environment, and eventually I got over the suicidal part in my inferiority episodes. But it took a long time. And to this day, I still see people who judge me on actions I did years / decades ago, even though I've shown numerous times to not be that person anymore. And it sucks when that happens. But I realize that if those people are only going to judge me for who I was and not who I am now, then why should I give them attention? I've had to move on from a lot since I was a kid, and it's something I'm not a fan of remembering. So when I saw these 2 characters get bullied, especially Shoko for stuff that they couldn't control and how it affected them, I'm not gonna lie, it hit me right in the feels. Because a lot of that was what I went through growing up, and maybe that was the point. It didn't sugarcoat any of this. Bullying does happen in life, especially during your early years. That's why it's important you get help / support when you are bullied, because while it does eventually get better, it still sucks when it happens to you, both physically and mentally. And the reason I'm partially angry at the characters in this film as well, because a lot of the stuff they did is very accurate to stuff either I went through or saw others go through as a result of bullying. Yes, people do beat up disabled people and get away with it. Yes, people will dismiss someone in the present due to something they clearly regret from the past. And yes, people will take advantage of your weaknesses. It sucks, but it's true. But, as I stated in previous reviews, if the writer is able to draw out an emotion, not because of bad writing, but because of legit scummy things the characters do, then they succeeded in getting the reaction out of the viewer. You cared about these characters. So while I may not like these characters because of their actions, the character element is handled really well because they don't suck because they're poorly written. They suck because, well, The characters are dick/douchebags who realize they are dick/douchebags by the end of it. A silent voice does bug me, but that's only because it really hits close to home for me, and as someone who did used to get bullied a lot. But it's also because of that and how well it executes these bits that I can't call this film bad. Because in regards to what I just described, as well as the elements in this film does a good job in all of these departments. So yeah, it's a good movie, and I'll take back my comment on it being trash back in January. But I'm likely not going to see it again.
As someone who got bullied a lot growing up, this also hits too close to home for me. While I certainly had both my parents help me through it, getting bullied sucked, especially at a young age. So watching this film, especially now that I'm learning sign language and is friends with someone who is deaf in real life, this film certainly struck a few chords with me. I really do pity Nishimiya a lot because, well, no one deserves to be bullied because of something they can't control. Either way, this film will definitely strike a few chords with you because odds are you've either been bullied in one way or another, or you were the bully at one point. But I still like this film, despite it hitting a little too close to home for me at points. If it's worth anything, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to learn sign language with my deaf friend.
So that concludes this review. Thank you all for watching, and take care. So I guess we both had a shitty past, didn't we?
Sort of. But hey, we got through it. Now it's time to get through this obstacle together.
Right!
Well, you did manage to do the review. I will not let you escape this dreamscape alive.
Oh no, not a random spirit. Yeah, no, it's time to end this.
And what about you, David? Without your ring, you're worthless.
I used to be afraid. I used to feel worthless. But ever since I've met Susan and formed bonds with my friends, I no longer feel that way. I'm not worthless, you stupid spirit, and I will never go down that path again. Besides, I still have my own powers to use. Oh, and as for you threatening to kill my wife, here's my response.
Ah! Ah! What? No! How could the person around us begin to crack?
Because you underestimated the both of us. Our bond is strong, you stupid spirit. Now taste our combined power! Sapphire Star Blast!
Deanimate! Ah!
A few moments later.
So, that just happened.
Yep. Hi everyone, it's us again. We're taking some time to further talk about suicide awareness since there were 2 suicide attempts in this movie and all that. Suicide
is a terrible epidemic in our world. It is said nearly 3,000 Americans commit suicide every year. About 66% of the people who go through suicide are depressed at the time of their deaths. So think twice about bullying someone like how Shoya did to Shoko. Assuming you'd still do bully. You could end up being the reason they kill themselves.
Suicide is never the answer to stop bullying. That is why if you're feeling suicidal, just know you are not alone. There are hundreds of hotlines out there that you can talk to if you're uncomfortable talking to your loved ones about it, and there are also therapists who can help you through that tough time.
I personally have had thoughts of hurting myself, and I know David has as well. We managed to get through those tough times both on our own and together.
You're alive for a reason, so don't ever give up.
Thank you guys for listening.